Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com, or you can phone us at 844-551-8255. And for one of my routine callers, we've gotten a ton of messages from you. I'm sorry we haven't played more on the show, but I will try to address all of your various issues. At one caller, she's a really interesting lady. I believe she's a Native American or Indian like myself, and a sweetheart, and we love hearing from her. And she gives me lots of information that we try to share on the show. Anyway, hey, look, I don't know if you guys saw this. Illegal Africans stormed the beaches of Spain, or I should say a beach of Spain. They came over in like a rubber raft. They look like Navy SEALs coming up, and they hit the beach and take off running, and the people are running. You know, people are from the Spanish people are going, what the heck's going on? It's translated. I mean, they don't translate the video, or I would have played the clip. But I can translate it for you. They're like, what's going on here? Who are these people? How did they get here? And then they're talking about the people and grabbing their kids. Like, go get the kids. It was a crazy video. And here again, it just shows you that the Navy, Spanish Navy, nobody got these guys. They for all intents and purposes, who knows what diseases they carry? Were they terrorists storming the beach? Are they drug traffickers? Are they human traffickers? Who knows? Now they just dispersed into Spain. Now, I don't know how easy they're going to be to spot. They're Africans in Spain. Spain tends to have very light people, but who knows? Maybe Spain won't let you, go up and go, hey, listen, African, you look rather African. Maybe they won't let them do it. But wow, it was. You have to see this video to understand what's going on here, folks. It was mind-boggling. And here's the thing. Every time I see something like that, I think to myself, this isn't isolated. They just somebody happened to get that one on film. These are things that happen probably typically in the dead of night when we don't even know it. How many of these people hit our shores? You think Cuba, you think everybody that comes over from Cuba is on some dingy raft that, it's barely seaworthy at all? Or do you think some of them come over in these rubberized rafts that can do pretty well? How do you fuel that thing from the distance it had to go? I don't even know. I have a lot of questions about this. But the Spaniards are upset. They're saying, look, this is not the way this is supposed to happen. So anyway, we got a lot to talk about this hour. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is in the news. Google is back in the news. It turns out this Google guy, he may sue the Google for getting fired, for firing him because of this Jerry Maguire thing he wrote, where he said, look, women, you got to let go, which for the sake of this discussion, I should tell you, women of Google may file a class action lawsuit against the company. I want to go into that separately because it's a bigger story than normal. But as far as this guy, I'm going to tell you, I don't even know his name. I didn't look at the story, but I would hire this guy on the spot. That's if I had the money. See, think about Google, and this segues into the conversation we'll have about the ladies. Google hires the best people. It doesn't always work out, but they can be very selective. Google can say, cut it. I remember when Cisco was the company to work for. You guys old enough to remember this? If Cisco hired you, it was printing money for you. You took the stock options, and people fought to get those jobs, fought to get them. And at one point, I even considered interviewing with Cisco, moving out to California. I mean, that's how desperate to get on at Cisco people get, is you will consider doing the things that you just would normally not do. It's like, holding up a sign on a street corner going, we'll work for Google, Well, I was thinking more like a prostitute. But you get what I'm saying? It was like that was the job to have. Now Cisco. Now Google is the job to have. My son turned down Google. My oldest son. He asked me, Dad, what do you think? Should I go work for this company or Google? I said, I go with Google. How many stock options? blah, blah, blah. So he goes to work for the other company. A year passes, and he says, hey, Dad, just a FYI, had I stayed at Google, my stock would be worth $100,000. So on top of his pretty decent salary, he was going to make $100,000 in stock, which, by the way, probably now, because it's been about 3 years later, is worth about, I don't know, cool $250,000, maybe $500,000. But he chose a different path, and good for him. He's doing great. But yeah, Google. Look, we need to let the people of Silicon Valley know something. You will be hired by us. If you want to have your own opinions, don't go work for leftist companies. Come work for us. If you want to leave the cesspool of leftism, we have a home for you. We will hire you. We want you. That's a big deal. Look, these guys know they can get jobs. But what they're tired of is they're tired of being spoon-fed leftist narratives and leftist ideologies when they say to themselves, look, I'm working at Google. Everybody seems qualified here. Why are we talking about silly issues? If you're at Google, you're qualified. If you're not, it isn't because we don't want you. It's because you didn't make the grade. You know what that white kid was figuring? He was like, look, don't downgrade what I've achieved. I want Google to remain the toughest job to get. That's what I want. I want Google to, for people to look at guys that work at Google and go, ooh, Google, gee, okay. Because let me tell you, when I tell people my son turned down Google, they're like, wow, what's this kid doing now? That's the reaction you want. You want to feel like you've made it somewhere. And you don't want people constantly, it's a terrible place. I don't like it. They didn't treat me right, whatever. And then I'm going to segue into the stuff that's going on with these ladies in a bit. What else we got? Michigan mother luring young teen boys for sex. Did you see this woman? Talk a little bit about her in a bit as well. Democrats are scared. Polling is not looking good for them. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they're making brash statements about Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Hillary Clinton investigation reopened. Look, folks, it is not looking good for the lefties. Not looking good. And we know why. Haven't you been waiting for this? I certainly have. Short break, folks. We'll be back.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.